Danielle with a larger view. Today, Maggie's face. Well, the bottom line first. It is that it is important, I think, that we begin to accept the way we look when we age. The way that aging has a way of sculpting our face to look different than it did when we were young. And of course, given my age, I may be sensitive to this, but my interest began when I was a young girl in a lycée, a French lycée, and we had to study a poem by Paul Valéry, and the whole poem described the face of an old woman. And of course, it was a poem, so it was very poetic and very, very beautiful. And by the end of it, it made you feel like, oh, I want to be old. Because he was talking about each line being like a lesson from her life and how he could see her whole life in the way that her face had ended up looking. And recently, I came across a very thought-provoking article by Rhonda Gerlich, who's a columnist for the Times, and she wrote this article about the face of Maggie Smith. We all know the actress Maggie Smith, and how she concludes her article by saying that her face was like aging as a luxury. It was, and I just thought that was such a beautiful thought. And she describes how Maggie's face was not surgically enhanced in any way, and how she allowed herself to be photographed, and like many other older actresses, without a lot of fancy clothes and a lot of fancy makeup, just in a very natural way. And if any of us saw her in some of her later roles, we realize how true to life she was, how natural she was, and how she becomes an example for us to accept the face of aging, because something about the way she used her face, which the Rhonda Gerlich called balearic mobility, how she used her face when she was older, it's almost like a lesson in how to be beautiful, in how to express yourself in a deeper way. So I wanted to share these thoughts with you in hopes that being older and looking older can be more accepted, that because it is important that we more and more learn to go beyond appearances. Thank you for listening.